This one's up to the heads that know. Never been seen that jet black snow. When I'm on stage with the mic in my hand, got the vibe with the gang and the rest not know. Living in peace, use breath control, and if I'm in deep, let's tread that slow. Don't come with a next angle. Got more sides in the rectangle. All that past, just let that go. Turn off the lights, don't end that show. Look on dance floor, show gets live. Oh, I see pyros, I see smoke. Graveyard shift, that's set in stone. Stepping stones, I'm stepping slow. Come to the venue, bless then go. My DJs come to let them know.
This video is for informational purposes only and is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Welcome back, YouTube. Hey, what's up? We're here with Austin, Parabolic 33 live streaming. Also, we have Mike Horner from the Mike Horner Muscle Project and Blunt Force Tanya, who fucking dropped the hammer at the show. Holy shit, she took overall at her first bodybuilding show. Congratulations, Tanya. That's one thing we're going to be getting into tonight. Talk about a few other topics. Again, I lied in the live stream description saying that we had advanced questions. We don't have shit, but what we're going to do is shoot from the hip. We're going to talk about peptides. So guys, Zionics here. What up, dude? Always a pleasure to see you, my friend. So if you guys want to go ahead and start dropping questions, we'll flag those for you. We'll turn those into discussions. We're likely going to be hitting on peptides real soon. We're going to talk about Tanya's show, her post-prep phase that she's within, how she's feeling. Actually, well, we'll talk about it because I actually watched a stream of hers last night, so on Blue Collar Bodybuilding, which was real good, guys. I didn't see the whole thing, but I saw a bunch of it. So I just wanted to say, what up, Austin? How you been, brother? Good to see you, man. We don't talk hardly ever anymore.
Right. Yeah. I want to thank like all of you guys for coming out and carrying this for me. I'm actually kind of embarrassed because I've been just so preoccupied and deep in something that it's no reflection on me not caring, though. So, you know, I can bring the knowledge that I can bring and what I have with the experience, but you know, bringing stuff like that too is just what I've wanted to be doing. But you guys like Tanya, Mike, Erick, Dave, all of you guys have been like excellent, you know, coming to support me and, you know, just including me in the discussion. Like, so I'm glad about that. Thank you guys.
It's everybody's pleasure, I'm sure. I mean,
I'm sure
go ahead,
all of
Tanya,
us
please.
I'm sure all of us know what it's like to have to go through similar stuff like that. Like, just like the shit we just went deep about right before we started recording. Like, I've been through similar shit, so I understand what it's like to be struggling to try to drive your passion at the same time.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there was a hug button on this thing, I'd hit it right now, Austin.
What?
Hug received.
A hug button.
Received.
So anyways, let's say hi first to Mike, then we're going to get into Tanya. We're going to talk about her show and all that, and then we're going to talk about peptides, have some fun. Hopefully you guys will start dropping some questions. Good to see everybody tonight. We got 7 people starting off. Thanks for coming out early. So Mike, how you been, man? What are you up to? I know that you got you're in prep right now, and I see you working on them, checking out your stories, your IG. You're looking good, bro. What's your goals here moving forward? And you know what? I honestly don't even know what class you're in, bro.
I am I'm bodybuilding 50 and over and heavyweight. So heavyweight's up to I think 226 and 226 and higher makes you super heavy. So I've got some room in the weight cap, and yeah, prep's going good, man. We just started pulling food.
If you want to fill it out, let me know. You know, maybe I can do something with you.
Yeah, we're just started pulling food, and so this is the first week that I've had to be hungry. And I did the last 2 preps with some Retatrutide on board, just a real low dose. And this time I don't have any, and I'm thinking, like,
When you say low dose, what are you talking?
I was due like 1.5 milligrams a week, so like 0.5 3 times a week.
Wow, that low, and you were getting effective results? Yeah, I've heard of people microdosing, and it makes a lot of sense that people probably take more than is needed, and maybe they're looking more for the appetite suppression of it. But from what I understand, I don't take Reta. I never have. I've never even taken a GLP. My wife takes it. She's up to the 8 milligram mark, 4 milligrams twice a week, and she's just gotten the appetite blunting effect. Up until 8 milligrams, she didn't have any of it.
Wow.
Okay, but she was getting she started making the change into the weight loss phase when she did start to Reta, even at the lower doses, though.
I have a client who's on prep right now who just started Reta, like literally last week, and I had her start because she wanted to try it, and mostly for blood work. Actually, she doesn't really fight with appetite that much during prep, like she can push herself. But so I had her start it at 0.5 milligram a week for the first week, and she said that it's helping with her like general hunger and stuff, especially when she's traveling, because she has to travel for like her kids stuff often. Especially when she's traveling and having smaller meals because of that and longer in between, it seems to help her a lot, even at 0.5.
Wow, that's awesome. Some people are just far more sensitive to it, and we don't go up like it. We don't like just say, "Oh, it didn't work for 2 weeks," and then hop up 2 milligrams. We go for at least a month.
That happens though. You ever notice that happens where? Sorry, I kept thinking you were done, but
no, that's cool, dude.
If you dose it at an increased frequency, do you guys ever notice the GLP-1s not working as good, like compared to if you were taking the same weekly dose but like twice a week?
I had her start at twice a week.
Yeah, but like compared to every other day or like every day.
Oh, I don't know.
No, doesn't Paul Barnett take like 1 milligram? And I think what it is, Austin, I think you'll likely have a delay. What it is, so don't even worry about it, man. It's no big deal. I just wanted to ask, because I know Mike, Paul like 100 times more than I do. I only met him once on a live stream. But wasn't he microdosing like 1 milligram a day, or was it like 1 milligram a week?
No, not 1 milligram a day. It's pretty low dose that he takes. He's on tirzepatide now. He moved back to that, I think, for the appetite suppression. I don't know if he's going to stay on it through a whole prep or not. It's interesting, right? Because, the Retatrutide, the reason why I like it is it doesn't have so much appetite suppression. So I can still get my meals in and eat.
Right.
But then you get all the benefits of the glucagon agonist, which really helps, switch your body's ability to start oxidizing fat for fuel rather quickly. It's like putting yourself into ketosis at the flip of a switch. And, having that stuff on board, is a great way to lose like body fat, even if you don't restrict the appetite. So all the other mechanisms behind the medication. And I think what happens is, in our cohort, we're already relatively lean compared to the rest of the world. Sure. So we can run these small doses and get big effects, where I think if you're a fatter person, if you're 30% or more body fat and you've got a lot more fat to lose, like you need the higher doses. And Retatrutide is not known for its hardcore appetite suppression. As a matter of fact, that's one of the better parts of it, because people who are on tirzepatide and semaglutide are having real problems with muscle wasting. Now,
I was going to say. Wouldn't that be one of the factors that you wouldn't want to implement higher doses, is because you're trying to mitigate the muscle loss?
Well, that's kind of what they're trying to solve chemically right now, is they want to put like a myostatin inhibitor attached to a GLP or GIP-1 agonist drug, so that you have sort of that muscle preservation happening in the same shot. You know, for most of us who are again in our cohort, you know, competitive bodybuilders, we're already taking testosterone and God knows what else, along with human growth hormone. Like muscle wasting really isn't a concern for us. And, you know, someone like my wife, she really can't, if she takes it, she can't eat on it. She has a real hard time eating on it. And she lost a ton of weight taking it last year while I was taking it. And a lot of it was muscle. And so she doesn't, you know, she likes everything that it does, except for the fact that she can't really eat anything. She's lucky she'd get in like 2 meals a day. We were running around Europe and I'm crushing whole pizzas and she's like eating one slice out of it.
I really hate that. I hate that feeling. Like when you lose your appetite when you're taking orals and whatnot, to me it drives me nuts because like you're trying to get the food in, and to me it's like every bite is just like, oh, nasty, and you're like washing it down with water and just trying, at least for me anyway. And that's why I always have to take MK.
You should try eating high carb days. You
Yeah,
have to do 1,000 grams of carbs in one day and try to get through that on a GLP-1.
I'm talking not even on a GLP, but yeah, I understand what you're saying.
What's the motivation then exactly for taking the GLP-1 if we're talking like possible muscle loss, possible, you know, and the appetite suppression isn't wanted? In that case, what are the specific effects that you're looking for then?
Well, that's a subject of a lot of contention, Austin. I mean,
yeah,
if you listen to a lot of content like I do, you know, you hear different camps talking about different experiences. And so they like the Retatrutide really got popular last year. So a lot of people did a lot of preps in 2025 on these. And now we're sort of seeing kind of the fallout of that. Like there might not have been as great as we thought. There's a lot of people who felt like they lost muscle or didn't gain as much muscle after using them. And there's some coaches some well-known coaches who completely stopped using them and advocating against them. Like, hey, anything that costs you muscle is not worth it. I'd rather suffer than give up any muscle, right? That's like a common theme. And so I actually gained tissue during both of my preps last year. So for me, I don't think it's, you know, an idea of losing muscle. I don't want to take the risk of losing any muscle. And I also don't want to take the risk of suffering some long-term side effects, because at the end, after I had gotten through 2 preps last year, I stayed on a small dose of it while I was vacationing, just so I wouldn't, you know, totally wreck the time that I was taking off. And that's kind of when I started having side effects. So once I stopped eating my super clean bodybuilder diet and I'm eating all of the shitty food that we were eating on vacation, is when I started having side effects. And so I don't want to do it for so long that those things are irreversible. And that's certainly
what were the side effects? What were the side effects? Because and then after you tell me that, I'll get into my philosophy on what it would be now, because it has changed over time.
Right. Well, the biggest one is the delayed gastric emptying. And I think I had used it for so long that by the time I started eating real food, it was like, you know, I had some of that gastroparesis that they talk about. So, and it took a little while after stopping it for it to work itself out. And but then I was getting heartburn, I was getting gas, you know, bloating, things like that. And it was, again, because I was introducing not so healthy food again after eating clean all year long for contest prep, you know, that might have had something to do with it. They
can be electrolyte disturbances too. I was telling this to Eric, and if you ever got indigestion, heartburn, take a size 00 capsule, 00 capsule, and fill it with salt like 3/4 of the way, and that will basically wipe it out if you're getting that. As to why that happens, I mentioned it before, but I've noticed it with like a lot of people now. They're like, holy crap, I'm not taking Tums anymore. But that's just kind of a side point. But ultimately when you're looking at like what are the possible reasons you could use a GLP-1 for, and it's almost always comes back to appetite suppression at some level, right?
Oh man, So I do think it can play a role in prep for some people. If you have a client who is struggling with the appetite thing and maybe struggling to stay on program all the time, like that's not me, that's not Tanya. Like we're able to. It was nice to have the food noise shut off a little bit through those preps. I remember like when I prepped for the Emerald Cup last year, like I got to the Emerald Cup and we were doing the check-in and everything, and another friend of mine was there competing, and she said, so what are you going to have for your cheat meal? And I thought, well, I haven't even thought about it. I have not given 1 second of thought. And usually at the end of prep, like you're scrolling all the shit you're going to eat.
You're building your
anymore,
meals from the time you wake up till you get to bed. You've got
cookies on order. You've got the next 3 cheat meals planned. And I hadn't had a thought until that day. And I told her, I said, I haven't thought about it. I have no idea. I'm sure there's going to be a cookie involved, but other than that, like
that was literally mine as well. That was literally my experience as well. Like,
for
like
me, it was like a sleep aid.
I didn't have anything super planned, but I knew cookies were going to be involved for sure.
That's a powerful tool if you have a client who's struggling with diet compliance, right? I don't like it for my my vanilla clients, my regular clients.
Vanilla clients.
Lifestyle clients.
I'm gonna start saying that because I get the ick from the word lifestyle clients. I don't like it. It's cliche.
So what do you call it? What do you call it?
I usually default to general population or recreational.
There you go. I like.
I don't like the word lifestyle, but I like vanilla a little more.
And vanilla is more the truth, right? Hey guys, I want to take this question while we're still kind of on the topic here. While we're talking about GLPs, who is it? Vajra Talon. He's asking, what about adding low dose Anavar to counteract the muscle loss on the GLPs?
I'll bite on this, and I was going to finish the last thing too. Is like I wanted to say my philosophy on it is like always don't use or worry about the muscle loss from a GLP-1, because if you're using it, you need it to fulfill a goal, which is the rate of weight loss that you need, either to be ready for a show on time and you're just not going to comply, or when you have so much weight to drop that it's just like a miserable existence and you're going to be starving all the time, and like your life becomes like we were just talking about, planning your next 3 cheat meals or whatever. So use it as a quality of life improvement. Or also the other thing, I thought of tirzepatide as a sleep aid, basically, because one of the main things that happens when you start being in a deficit for a long time and you're really losing a lot of fat, you wake up in your sleep at 2 a.m, and that's irregardless of being on trend or not. But you can't go back to sleep a lot of the time until you raid the fridge, and that's like a tempting spot. So on a GLP-1, I could sleep through the night, actually, when I was dropping fat at a rate of weight loss that is too high. That is a tool for that. But if you're trying to be the best competitor you can be, ultimately you never really want to get into that spot, because you want to be planning your year out like in advance, what show you're going to do when. So you're trying to be ready for a time, and like you don't want to just think of it as like, okay, I'm bulking, I'm trying to build mass right now, and then you are like, you know what, just impulse do a show sometimes. Like that is totally a thing to do, like, if that's what you want to do. But the longer
those same
you can
people don't want to
out,
be their best,
right? The longer you can project out and plan your life to build this into your life, literally, like you have an advantage by planning into it. And you shouldn't have to be dropping at such a rate where that is going to be required, and then you're not going to need a GLP-1 anyway. So if you want the best results, you're losing at a slower rate of fat loss, where you're not going to be really worried about muscle loss. And then when it comes to the question from our user here, oxandrolone Anavar, I don't know if I've seen anything in particular to it that is counteracting of muscle loss. Other than that, if you think about it milligram per milligram, it's like exceptionally potent of an anabolic, because
Wasn't that one of the
350
things
milligrams a
it's
week.
exactly used for in a medical context?
Oh, absolutely.
So
Oxandrolone.
it is. It definitely is. But the way things get chosen in medicine, like they didn't go down the line, you know, like Superdrol, Tren, Anadrol, DHB. Okay, Anavar is the best for that.
Right. Okay,
It's a company, like a company, like pumped it. So, and then they sold it.
Let me jump in here real quick, Austin. Let me ask you, because I honestly don't know. I know that the primary reason for oxandrolone is it was on-label prescription for burn victims, because it helps so much with collagen synthesis and also maintaining an anabolic state while sedentary. Now, does like Anadrol and these other orals have that same mechanism of action?
I would
If
say,
I remember correctly, there have been some studies on Anadrol in women for that purpose. If I remember correctly.
I was gonna
No,
say
yeah,
that.
you're right about that,
Wait,
John.
did it Tanya, did that study like show favorably? I would assume it would.
Yeah. And no significant negative side effects.
Yeah, I think like when you go looking for something with an androgen involving muscle growth, you're going to be pleasantly surprised that it's there, because it's just, they do their thing, you know, like an androgen binds into the androgen receptor as a ligand, and then androgen receptor codes for like 1,000 different genes. The androgen that fits into that AR can only activate it so many different ways. You're still activating the same receptor. It doesn't really matter what it is that much. You know, you have different things that control how potent it is and how the magnitude of that effect is. And Anavar is exceptionally potent, actually. People don't think of it as extremely potent.
Oh my
but I
God,
lump
it
it
is
in
freaking really potent, dude.
Right. I lump it
Even
in
as a
like one of the-
pre-workout.
Yeah. I lump it in as one of the super anabolics, like Superdrol, DHB, Tren, Ment, Anavar, and methyltren. So it's kind of like actually right there if you think about it. Like, you know, what other thing of 20 milligrams do you take pre-workout, 50 milligrams pre-workout, and you get a significant boost? What are your guys' thoughts on the potency
It
of
is
that?
probably one of the mellower oral anabolics for hepatotoxicity too.
Yeah.
Compared to all those other ones you could take, it's the easiest on the liver.
Yeah. Like, and you know, think about what 50 milligrams a day of Anavar gets you. And then think about what 350 test or like 350 Masteron gets you, or, you know, 350 Primo even. Like, I think the 350 Anavar a week, 50 milligrams a day is going to get you more than the Primo or anything else.
50 milligrams. I had no idea. I was like, yeah, I've done 50 milligrams of the UGL before, and then I got the pharma grade, right? So I'm like popping 50s. I think I went about 8 days, right? And then I hit this brick wall. Like, I was so lethargic. I was just done. I couldn't do shit. And then I broke out.
The bell curve real quick.
I developed the most painful acne I had ever had in my life. I told Austin about this. I could barely lay on the bench without going, ah. So I went tanning 4 days straight. Not only did my lips like dry out like a fucking raisin, but it dried up all the acne. That was cool. And so I'm never doing that again. I bought a scale. Now actually I could weigh out my oxandrolone like to 2.5, even 1 milligram. I could weigh it out too. You just have the little empty gel caps.
The problem often when you start comparing it to injectables, though, is going to be like, you know, half-life. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to start necking Anavar every 3-4 times a day to keep up with, you know, the kind of Anabars you can hold in serum for a long time, doing things like test and EQ or test and.
I think for sure. Yeah. Like, I don't know. Yeah, that was going to be more stable, but that's an interesting point you bring up. But I think even if you do 25 milligrams twice a day of Anavar, it's not like anything that crazy. I think you're going to get stronger effects on that, to be honest.
It's great pre-workout.
Yeah.
Todd Lee actually Oh, excuse me. Todd Lee, actually, when we had him on a live stream when I worked with H4M, he was saying sublingual oxandrolone, you're approaching the upper limits of safety at 20 milligrams. Sublingual, where you're getting
Of safety?
of safety, yeah.
For
As
what?
far as
From what?
blood work,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
So I
Yeah.
always hear mixed opinions as to whether that's orally bioavailable.
Well, he
Um,
actually adds, what's it called, Austin?
I mean,
That you add to
sublingually.
add to the pill to make it so like you can make anything sublingual. That's what he
I,
does. He makes his own.
Right, but
I have
I've
my
heard
own
mixed
take on it.
opinions on whether doing it without doing that is still sublingually. Like some people say that it is, like literally just doing it with the pill.
I always
I
thought it
can-
was, and
yeah.
then so many people told me it wasn't. But I can't
Mhm.
tell you how I still take a lot of my prescribed meds sublingual, and I'll tell you what, they give me the same effects, if not more.
I've tested this. If you haven't had anything to eat or drink for 30 minutes, put it under your tongue so that your mouth doesn't salivate. If you record yourself, you'll see you don't swallow while you're driving to the gym. You get the effect in 20 minutes and there is nothing left under your tongue. It's gone. So
Yeah.
you not only can't see it, you got the measurable effect and you didn't swallow.
Faster than
I
oral.
would say that's pretty good data on that.
I mean, that's what I did this whole last time because I figured why not.
Yeah.
And I've been doing that with my thyroid pills too since you told me that.
Oh, really? Cool. Nice.
I've got
T4
some
and T3.
Anavar suspension that's in this really sweet
nice.
syrupy stuff.
Oh, I hate
Suspension?
That.
You mean
Bad.
injectable? You mean injectable, Mike?
No, just liquid.
That you wouldn't want that for absorbing it under the tongue, actually, because you end up salivating and you swallow, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
don't you have to swallow? Yeah. If you put it under your tongue dry,
DSMO. Thanks, Jeremy. Thanks.
Yeah.
DSMO. That's what it is. Yeah.
you don't even need that, actually. Like, because like I said, anyone can measure this at home. Don't drink for 30 minutes. Make sure your mouth's dry. Put something under your tongue. Watch it disappear. And yeah, you'll get the effect. Like if you do it with something psychotropic too, like not that it's the same molecule, it's even more noticeable. But
what about Modafinil?
I've never tried that aside from
I'd rather just take a caffeine pill.
Yeah. Do you guys use Modafinil?
It's so weak. My wife takes it, and it's really. I've taken a few here and there, and it just felt like I drank like a strong Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
Yeah, I have a few just stashed away that I'll just use like very occasionally. Like I used one on show day. I'll use one if I'm like traveling and super sleep deprived. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean it does work. It does wake you up, but it doesn't last like a real long time. Like if I was to take a
really, because it has a super long half-life.
Yeah.
I know, that's crazy. I don't know. I have a crazy high tolerance for amphetamines. Clearly.
I do too.
Not because I take anymore. Not because I take them anymore, but because I used to. But
you just can't hear the Modafinil over all the cocaine.
That's what it was, man. Holy shit. Never mind that. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I partied like a rock star. Let's just put it that way. And it caused a lot of problems in my life. So thankfully those years are long behind me. So anyways, I want to let's start talking about Tanya because yeah, fantastic job, man. Holy shit, you kicked some fucking ass. As a matter of fact, we're gonna pull up your IG, just take a look at some things here and let you just talk about how you're doing, how the show went. I want to hear it all. Like how'd you feel? Like were you nervous going in there? Like were you confident? Were you like looking at the other girls and like, holy shit, you know what, they actually look better than me? Or were you like standing firm, blunt force Tanya, like fuck these chicks, I got this?
I really wasn't that nervous, honestly. I did go into this show pretty confident, and as far as the other girls, like I didn't really even notice anybody around me. I was very focused on my own world the whole time. I did take a nebivolol that morning, which did its job and helped me do that for sure. Like I was just very zoned in and focused the whole time. Like I knew what I needed to do. I knew the order of things. Like it was a little confusing with the lineups and everything because they kept smashing classes together. But other than that, I mean, it went pretty smooth and I was pretty confident the whole day, especially after the morning show. Yeah.
That's awesome. And yeah, so like, well, let's get into how long of a day was it? You know, you travel, you're freaking shot, you haven't eaten, you're freaking, then you starting to like load up so you can start to fill out, and you were doing a lot of pumping backstage. Let's talk about that. Like, what was that experience like for you being the first time? Like nerves wise, like mentally.
So this show is 5 minutes from where I live.
Okay.
It's right down the street. So no travel involved, which was very, very fortunate and definitely contributed to my general comfort and lack of anxiety around the show because I was, in my own environment. I've been to the show
Exactly.
before. I've worked at the show before. I did trophies at the show last year. So, I've literally been on the stage and backstage and everything. So I know how it's run. So that that helped a lot to the general calmness of the whole day. But yeah, I did a ton of pumping up. I did my normal training throughout peak week, literally. I even had 20 minutes of cardio the morning of the show at like 5 a.m. before my first meal because we figured out that my body responds really well to staying active and continuing to train hard. Like even my legs, they never get washed out after a leg day. Actually, they look their best right after I get done training legs every single time. So unfortunately,
Wow.
no,
Holy
unfortunately,
shit. Look at them fucking
no,
glutes.
thank you. Unfortunately, no relaxing feed up time for me during peak week or backstage at all.
Wow. I mean, there's no doubt you're going pro. I mean, come on. What do you think, Mike? I mean,
I
obviously, I'm
appreciate
new.
that.
I'm new, relatively new to the sport in the last few years. So I'm not the best judge. But looking at her physique, what do you think?
Oh, I think she
You didn't
definitely
even
has.
get actual stage photos.
Yeah. Yeah, she definitely has the chops for sure. She she actually is still has some runway to improve on the prep she's already started. So she's in a really good position to actually improve significantly between these two shows.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to see the best Tanya ever very, very shortly here. And that Tanya can definitely win a pro card depending on who shows up that day for sure. Yeah.
Sure.
I appreciate that a lot. I've actually
She
gotten
already hurt a whole bunch of
significantly.
feelings at that show. I seen the pictures. There were some girls that were mad she was there.
Oh, were they? Yeah, I bet you felt it too, right?
They were no,
Yeah.
I mean they were all very sweet at the show. I mean, I follow I follow a couple of them now. So there was
Yeah.
no animosity that I felt, but also I'm not good at girling, so I don't always recognize those energies. I don't know.
Well, and Eric, it's really,
But
Yeah.
I'm making jokes. It's really not like that.
No,
Competitors,
I was
there's a
just
lot of
gonna say
camaraderie
that. I was just gonna
backstage.
say
Yeah.
that there may be like the yeah, exactly. There is camaraderie. There's like competition, just like in anything else. But at the end of the day, you're all bros doing the same sport and loving it. I mean, look
yeah.
at just even the pros and the Olympia and all that and the Arnold. They may get into this fucking beef back and forth, but at the end of the day, they're all boys.
When you pay attention to like people in those environments too, like, I say this not as a bodybuilder competitor, but, as an athlete before, nonetheless, the more it's like what Tanya said, she had worked at the show before. So the more familiar you are with your environment, the more comfortable you're going to be there and the nerves
Right.
won't get to you. And then you'll just notice, people do stuff like say things like because they're competing with you in general. So, they'll say like, I don't know, inflate themselves, and you won't know it but they're just like lying, that can be something that happens. So that stuff, like if you're in an unfamiliar environment, will get under your skin more. But, it's just the more times you've run through this, like when you're preparing for a show, like running through it as much as like you can mock preparing like what's going to happen, like the less you can make that it just about this like one mythical show day that is completely going to be different from like everything you've been doing on the prep. The less you can demystify that show day, the better, and that's why posing is so important too. It's not just actually knowing the posing, it's you're comfortable doing it from a psychological perspective, and you're more aware of your body.
So honestly, Tanya, how'd you feel? Like, did you feel like you brought the absolute best package you could have?
For the stage that I was in, yeah, and for what I needed for that show, yes. I did know that I could definitely get more condition from there. I had probably been a little bit leaner than that before because it's by no means my first time doing a hard diet or getting lean.
Sure.
But I also knew that this was by no means going to be the first show, so I was okay with that. I knew I was ready enough for this show, and I knew that I wanted to have some runway after that for sure. And that's exactly what we have now. And I've gotten significantly leaner in just 10 days post show than I was on show day.
That's
Like I can
that's
send
really
I
interesting
can
to
send
me.
you some I can send you the check-in pictures from yesterday. And I just posted those on my story, I think today, comparing to one day from the show. And I also just DM'd you some like show pictures and videos and stuff.
Oh, you did? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Yeah.
I will. I could
No, I
pull that
just
up
now
in a
sent
moment.
them.
Oh,
What do
okay,
you
cool.
what do you attribute the getting leaner to after? Like, was that
Yeah, I wanted to hear
your
that.
goal?
Yeah, that's wild.
I think just continuing. Oh, and this was between prejudging and finals. When I was at home taking a break before I left. This was right before I went over to finals and an hour after my meal.
Don't you love that tan? Isn't that tan sick?
Yeah.
It's like it
I'm
just
sorry, what
brings
was the question?
everything out. Don't you love having that tan?
No, before that.
Oh, that was probably mine. Like about
Yeah.
the getting leaner after the show.
I think I just continued right back into the diet, and that's just where my body was ready to start going. Either that, like I think that and a combination of maybe an increase in my metabolism maybe took off a little bit after, post-show eating, and I'm also not even down as low in calories as I was before peak week this last time. I'm about 200 calories higher right now.
Yeah, it's so that's like a good sweet spot because like one of the things you see after a show is like when people eat like crazy, it can look like you just lose everything like in like a week or something. It's not
Yeah, and I didn't eat like
really that.
crazy. I mean, like I ate a lot for sure, but it was by no means a binge. I wasn't ravenous. I was well fed on show day. I didn't have cardio during peak week, so I wasn't super depleted. Like I wasn't starving at the end of show day or anything. Like I ate a lot, but not like I would if I was like trying to go all out.
Yeah, it's
And then I was
probably,
just
I
right
mean,
back to prep.
no, that's the way to do it. Like I think people underestimate how much they fill back out after a show too. Like
Yeah.
you can either uh overdo it and then you end up like feeling like you undid all your progress, but really it's just because you're in a super high insulinogenic state, holding on to minerals like that you weren't before. Water's just absorbing and piling on you, so it'll blur everything. But you know how did your curious, like how did your weight stay on the scale?
So, I definitely filled out a lot. Like I just got super vascular and full after, the end of the night after the post-show meal and everything. And then after the second day, because I had another free meal the next day, it was just calorie capped at 2,800 calories for the whole day. After that day, that spilled me over and I definitely got watery. Which I expected, and that water stayed on for quite a while. It took the majority of the week to come off. Monday morning after the show, I was 125, and for reference, I was 122 on stage. And the day before that, I was 119, which was up until that point a prep low. So I started the week after the show at 125. By Thursday, I got a new low of 117.
Wow.
Okay, so back down again in that case.
And now I got a new low yesterday of 116.
Oh wow. So the low, you got a low weigh in, and you are you looking leaner too?
Significantly. Like those are, I think, still on my story. I put a side by side of the day before prep and yesterday. I'm gonna make sure they're still up, but yeah, they are still up.
I'll say that's unusual from what I see. That's impressive. That's crazy.
There we go. I gotta give him
I'm
my
really
DMs,
excited.
Yeah.
Like my coach is pretty confident that I'm gonna be able to eat into the show, and I just said, don't threaten me with a good time.
Yeah. do you have the trajectory that you're going to be heading down, like in for the next show, like kind of what we were mentioning earlier? What's
As
the
far
trajectory?
as when the show is.
Yeah, and like, you know, how you're going to be structuring diet training and what your outlook is on that.
So for right now, we're keeping everything as far as I know. I'm waiting on my check-in feedback right now. So, and it's actually taking longer than it normally does, which tells me I have significant changes coming, probably to my training program. I don't know. I'm just making guesses, but as far as I know, training is the same right now, and we're at 1,500 calories for low days, which is a little higher than it was before peak week. And my high days are probably coming back in this weekend, which I normally have every weekend. I just didn't this past weekend. So right now everything's the same. Cardio is still the same, which is only 3 30-minute sessions of fasted treadmill walking a week. So right now just keeping that the same and getting as lean as we possibly can. And if I'm ready early, that's even better.
Yeah, ready early is like, I think that's the way to go. Like, I feel like drop your fat and get everything off, like while you're still get more off when you're in a fresher state, closer to like the last time you were in a surplus, like trying to like having been already in a deficit for a long time and then dropping a ton of weight. It just,
and also like
sucks, you know.
And also like I'm just on TRT and GH right now. Like I'm off cycle for another couple of weeks. So it's just going to get better as I get deeper, actually.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to, I think you could even push it more, like if you had the DHT component removed, you know, I'll be honest. The people, you know, who I've seen, they don't notice really a detriment, you know, from the ones who have tried it. But to do that, you have to be without testosterone and thus DHT, you know. But I think you could push more anabolic milligrams. You know, DHT is super potent, you know, and it's destroyed in the muscle, you know. It's kind of basic, but not that it's saying it has no function, but like if physique is the number one, you know, I would think like estradiol and something ultra clean potent, you know, would be the way to structure that. Right now, I'm not even on any testosterone. I don't use it. And I'm just on an HRT regimen of 60 milligrams DHB per week and estradiol. And I feel good. And what was the last thing I was going to say? Like Anavar having the reputation that it does among women is like, you know, everybody knows that. It's like, do you think it's like uniquely better for women than like other things, like, or just among good ones?
Among good ones for probably the same reason as any of the other ones are good ones, just less androgenic side effects.
Yeah. I mean, from my experience, like chiming in with this again, like, a lot of the things I think are how they interact with tests. Like, for example, like Primo, Masteron, those lower or somehow interfere with estradiol signaling through some way. And they, as a result, they're skewing the anabolic androgenic ratio. And, you know, if you're eliminating estradiol from aromatized tests, you know, I've seen this argument made that more of it will turn into DHT as a result. And I have seen some labs that show like higher DHT levels when somebody's using something to block the aromatization of test, because you are kind of forcing more of that to go down that 5-alpha reductase pathway instead.
But would that apply if you use exogenous estrogen replacement?
No, yeah, no. Like, so in my experience and with the people I've done this with, like Primo, no androgenic effects whatsoever. None of them do, really, aside from when you combine them with test. Like the effects that they have are different, you know. Yeah. But not many people get to experience that, because like how else are you going to do it unless you don't use test.
So Tanya here, No Waker, one of our, I guess, guests and a good friend that we had on a couple of weeks ago with the SHBG mutations. Just curious what body fat percentage you were when you were on stage.
I don't know. That's not really something that bodybuilders think about or look at.
Right, right. So here it is. This is obviously your show. Looking fucking badass. That's a nice shot. I mean, you look so full. That's what blows me away when you're telling me your weight, like 122, 117. You actually look. I know that you're 5'2.5" now. You grew in a half inch, so that's pretty cool. You know, and you got the heels, so that makes you a bit taller. But in the image, you look really full. I mean, you just maybe have the right frame and insertions to where it just gives you that full look.
I stay full pretty well. I don't get flat easily. It's really it's getting the water off that's my struggle.
Yeah. Well, let's move along here. We got more pics to look at here. Oh, this one here is small. Looks like we'll crank this up. There we go. Oh, there you are.
All the overalls.
Yeah, there you are right there. Yep. Cool.
Now, do you have a specific strategy for, dealing with your hydration, electrolytes, water look like on show day, independently of like carbs?
So it was less than I'm used to having in a day, but not restricting fluid entirely by any means. Like I have my normal amount in the morning. Like I normally have a liter in the morning anyway before I do anything else. And so he told me just go ahead and have your normal morning drink because that was like 4 a.m. anyway. That was so far from showtime. And then go and do the cardio and then have your first meal with half a liter with the meal and distributed kind of after the meal up until showtime for the morning show. So less water than I was used to having, especially because otherwise I would have to pee constantly and that would not help my waist. So I didn't want to have to be constantly getting up to pee. So that was mostly the consideration, but I wasn't dehydrated by any means.
Had you tried that before, like to see how you respond, like, with removing hydration? Like, do you just notice like an improved look pretty linearly like that?
We didn't intentionally play with water, no. But I have noticed in the past, just noticing patterns, like, for example, when I travel, like some sort of situation like that, where I'm not as hydrated as I'm used to being, and also not taking in the same amount of food volume and electrolytes, I always look hella dry.
Yeah.
Like in a good way.
Anytime, like, see if you can observe this, but anytime you are on a decreasing amount of water intake over the course of a few days, you're going to look drier and more crisp. Anytime you're on an increase in water intake over the course of a few days, you're going to look worse, especially if there's carbs in the mix. So it's kind of like carbs intake, water intake. Forget even about the electrolytes. You're going to hold on to electrolytes. If you have water and carbs in the mix, it doesn't matter like what ratios you're taking in, you're going to just hold them. You're going to get bigger, fuller until you spill over. And then on the way down, actually, that's when you're going to be able to drop lower. Yeah, I've heard it's random, but on a Dr. Mike on a Renaissance periodization video where he's talking about water manipulation, and it's just like the most basic thing you can do. But I do think there's some truth into that. Like, but no doubt, that's not me disagreeing though, by the way. Like cutting water, you're gonna dry out for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. A way to before I finish, a way to like actually leverage that though, increasing your water and electrolyte intake over the course of several days and then pulling it actually will allow you to drop lower.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah, right.
Like I had like 15 to 30% ish more water than I'm used to having, like leading up to it.
Put your electrolytes in your water too. Don't
I do.
take it in cap. All right, good. It's better than capsules and supplements in my experience. I was getting what's it called? PVCs, like an arrhythmia because my potassium dropped so low, and I was trying to keep feeding it back with supplements, with capsules, gluconate, chloride, and sometimes I could take like 400 milligrams, 500 plus, and then like the same thing would happen again. Like, even though I've been up to like 1,500 supplemental milligrams of potassium a day, it's like, I was like, what the hell is going on? Put in like 300 or 400 in the water that I'm drinking during the day, and then it went away. Like, and I was actually able to balance and store it. You know, so that was like a good lesson in that. If you're trying to like take in supplemental electrolytes, they're not like the rest of things. Like, you kind of want to have it in your drink.
Where was I? I wanted to share this here. Look at this here. Okay, Tanya, what are we looking at here? Here, as clearly we see you here right in the middle, because I know you took overall. Was that what we're looking at here? Was the final judging?
That was the open class, I believe, and one of the girls was in a class by herself.
Okay.
So it was me and the other girls in my class, and then one girl being judged by herself. And I came out in the middle, and they never moved me.
Man, your quads. Look at that. I mean, there's no comparison. You almost look like Jay Cutlers doing the quad side. This girl,
Yeah,
this woman's pretty big, but she's just not conditioned well enough. At least from the picture, it's hard to say because you know it's not a real high resolution image. But
also, I think she was in the class by herself.
Oh, she was in a class by herself. So yeah,
I think that's the one that was. I'm not sure.
And you clearly have the best lat spread, no doubt.
Thank you.
Lat spread. No doubt. I mean, there's not even a remote.
I've always been able to connect with my lats really naturally and flare them. I don't understand the struggle that most people have with flaring their lats, and I don't know how to teach people how to do it very well because it just comes naturally to me. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Did Jackie make any adjustments to that front relax when you started working with her?
Not really. Just had me bend my knees a little bit more and turn my my toes out to 10 and 2 a little bit more. That's all.
All right, guys, I'm going to start asking. I'd like for everybody to start asking some questions out there. I mean, it could be on absolutely any topic: anabolic, androgenic steroids, peptides, synthol, whatever you want.
Erick,
synthol. This shit's hilarious. Anyways, we got another one here. I like this picture. This is sweet. Here you are. So, wow, you must have been so proud. Must have been so happy. And even still, man, your fucking legs just pop.
I had a video in there of when they called me for the overall and they mispronounced my fucking name. I don't know what it is with people in the South specifically. Why do you see Tanya and insist on using the short A?
Yeah.
Tanya.
Yeah.
Tanya.
But I expected it. It was whatever.
Fucking white people.
It's specifically white people in the South who do that.
That pic with the quads there was like crazy.
I know. I'm saying, man, her quads are insane.
Everybody kind of smoking everybody.
They truly are. She truly is. She's like Jay Cutlers' daughter. I want to see you do the quad stomp. I really do.
I think that's a video.
Oh, you have a video doing a quad stomp?
No, but I think that one is.
Oh, this one is. Let's hit it then. Why isn't it playing? That's weird.
I don't know.
You know why? I can go back. I can go back to the here we go. This is why.
She posed better than everybody too. She was the best poser on stage for sure.
Thank you.
How much do you dedicate to practice?
I've been practicing posing for years and years and years because I always knew it was going to be important. So I was like, why would I not just start practicing and get good at it? But right. I mean, I've definitely kicked it up a lot and like done it a lot more consistently during prep for sure.
Do you think it's actually helped you with your trajectory in terms of like knowing what to focus on more and like targeting
100%
effort? Right.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. because I knew what was important. I knew what was important a really long time ago, and if it's going to be important eventually, then that means it's important now.
Yeah, I've heard you mention that too on one of the other live streams we did. But like applying, it's like with scientific lifting, you know, apply your extreme effort in a targeted area to make the most results, you know. So, you know, you often wouldn't really see your weaknesses, like, or what things need selective effort. You know, a lot of people still get stuck in like training, like trying to get jacked, you know, but there is so much you can do to a training split to make it so specifically you focus on your own shortcomings, so you end up as a better competitor, you know, like even just like what order in your training routine that you do what thing, like add that up over enough time, it's going to make a difference, you know. And if you're prioritizing what you're already good at, like you know, like if you got a good chest, like, and you're doing that first, you could be helping yourself, because maybe you'll just win the show based off that. But it's something,
and that's what separates forever intermediates from advanced bodybuilders.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, I want to play this next clip
game.
here. Let's see what this we get here. Here we go here. Okay, turn up a little bit.
No audio, but that's fine. That was when they called me for the overall.
Nice. Look at that shit.
The promoter of the show is hella short.
No, you just got a lot taller.
No, he's hella short. I think he's my height when I'm standing flat-footed.
Yeah, right.
I noticed you said you took nebivolol for the show. What do you get from it? Like, out of curiosity.
Complete physical calmness, like absolutely no chance of physical anxiety symptoms. Keeps my heart, and it keeps my heart rate nice and low, which helps me on stage because then I can hold my air better and keep my waist in.
Oh my God, I know, it's so key. Like, I don't know if you take it for the gym too, but like,
I only have like a few that I managed to get. So like I used one to test it before, like a couple weeks beforehand, and it worked really well. So I used one on show day, and I'm saving the other ones.
Try it on leg day.
Show day only.
Really? Try it on leg day. You're gonna fucking be like, holy crap! Like, you need like 30 seconds rest a minute in between sets. You know, like,
interesting.
It will give you like 20% less. Like, really.
And you don't have a hard time getting like your heart rate up and being intense in the set?
Intense, and I mean the numbers are the same. I don't know about my heart rate. The heart rate doesn't necessarily it probably just drops down faster. It probably might not go up quite as high, but different beta blockers, I don't know if anyone's ever tried them. They're not the same. Like, I've tried atenolol, and like allegedly 50 atenolol is comparable to 5 nebivolol. Not really.
I've only tried nebivolol.
Yeah. Some of them, like, really, they zonk your body and they will reduce your performance.
Yeah, I specifically chose nebivolol because it's selective and it doesn't affect muscle contraction or vasodilation.
Yeah, try it in the gym. Like, if any of you guys haven't, like, I mean, even not on a leg day, but try it. I take it all the time for that reason.
Let's take a look at this here.
I think that's the one that you just saw.
Is it really?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, what an idiot. All right, let me back out of that. Let's see if we missed anything here. I don't think we did. I think we're good. So congratulations. And when are you looking at for your next show? I mean, you probably told me earlier and I was drifting off or doing something else, but for the people that weren't here earlier, when is it coming up, and when you're starting your prep and all that?
Well, I talked to the judges afterwards, and my goal for this season was to hopefully make it to nationals, but not unless I was actually ready to be competitive at nationals. Otherwise, I wasn't going to waste my time. And I told the judges that afterwards when I got feedback, and that was not the feedback that I got. They told me that I should go for nationals, just given enough time to get a little more conditioned. And we talked about the different options, and we all kind of agreed as a group that junior nationals in Chattanooga in 8.5 weeks is a good target. So that's what we're going for.
Oh, that's awesome. So this is just, the very start of a good journey here for you, Tanya. I'm a fan. I love it. I've enjoyed following you, and you have a lot of knowledge. Just for people out there that aren't aware, she is a coach. She's also got a master's. She's great. Okay, most of her clients are actually men, which is I don't know if that's really a surprise. I mean, she really knows what the fuck she's doing, clearly. And she doesn't just take bodybuilders. Tanya, I'll let you explain what you do. So talk to the audience for a moment here and just let them know how they can reach out to you and whatnot. And of course, your links are in the box already.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, my goal is to have like most of my roster dominated by physique athletes. Like that's my passion, and that's what I want to like focus my work and my career around long term. But I do have a good split of like physique focused athletes who want to take it really seriously, whether that's competing or just being as serious as a competitive bodybuilder would be, which those are my favorite people to work with. And I have general population people as well. I actually have a girl who's really she's a little bit older. She's really interested in bodybuilding, but she's just working on doing a transformation contest right now, like in the transformation division. So she's prepping for that right now. And then I just have completely regular people who just want to get better and take it seriously. Like anybody, whether it's recreational or you want to take it really seriously, you want to be a physique athlete. If you want to actually take it seriously and be serious about it and put in the work to be as excellent as possible, I can really help raise your standards in that because I like doing that. And to get in contact with me about any of that, my landing page on Instagram, that'll take you to all of my different services, application forms, things like that. I do one-off consultations as well. I can look at lab work, talk about PEDs. We can talk about training. I'm really, really good with training mechanics. I love nailing down into that stuff. I do. I have an offer, a really low ticket offer where you can just send me your training footage, unlimited per month. And I'll give you training feedback and break it down mechanically. I'm not going to program for you or anything because it's a low ticket offer, but you just get free training feedback. And that's some of the best work that I do with my clients, and the clients who send me the most videos always get the best progress.
That's it. Great. Yeah, reach out to her, guys. Of course, the links are in the box. I want to take this question here. He's going back on Deca Primo. Astro, this is John Abnestein. I'm sorry. I'm going back on Deca Primo. Estrogen, did it before and it went great. I have Anavar laying around. Can I use it pre-workout occasionally, or will it destroy my SHBG?
Austin, hit it. I'm gonna go.
Yeah. I think you can, but you're gonna have to map it. So I don't know what the limit is on that. I haven't like mapped that out, but Anavar is notorious for crushing SHBG, and I've seen it do it. But
so even if you're on the SHBG protocol, then oxandrolone still will crush your SHBG.
Yeah, it's very finicky. Like it's like you can run those list of compounds that I mentioned and estradiol and nothing else pretty much if you're going to do it regularly. But that said, I'm using Proviron intermittently right now, and I'm the SHBG protocol guy, and I'm using Proviron, which is basically good for nothing except lowering SHBG.
Right.
I do get a boost from it when I space it out very rarely, but I can only hit that nitrous button so ever so infrequently. Like I can't just keep mashing on the Proviron before it doesn't have that same hit anymore. I would assume Anavar is the same.
Yeah. All right. So, Mike, I want to talk to you for a moment before we get going. Talk a bit about Muscle Project, how things are going with that and all. And first off, are you going to Dave's show in Rhode Island or Texas?
Yeah, I'm the Texas Pro. Are you talking about the Texas Pro?
Yeah, the one in July that he talked about last night.
Yeah, August. Yeah, I intend to do that.
August. Yeah.
Yeah, my show's in July 17th. I know that Paul is going to be there. Dave might also come to the Masters Nationals too. So we'll have a team there, and then they're sponsoring the Texas Pro. So sounds like a good reason to go work out at Destination Dallas. So
Hell
here I
yeah.
go.
You do a lot of traveling, don't you? Now, I can only like traveling sucks the life out of me. All right. And I can't imagine when you're on prep and you're like fucking cooked, ready to go into the stage, and you got to travel like across the freaking country and shit. And it's just, how hard is that, man? Is that like really taxing?
And I always make sure that I land early. So like last year I flew out to Pittsburgh, like, I mean, 6 days before the show, and then I had an Airbnb. So I was relaxed and chill, and it gave my body plenty of time to recover from any fatigue from the traveling, any edema or anything. And I generally don't get that stuff when I travel, but just in case, just it's always good to give yourself a buffer. I would love to drive my motor coach back there, but that is definitely seems like kind of a
motor coach, right? That's sick, dude. I didn't know you had a motor coach.
That sounds
fun. Well, and I can do that's what I lived in Vegas when I was training in Vegas for prep last year. I drove the coach down and I put it in a nice RV resort there, and lived in it while I was doing that. And we've lived in it for months at a time. We're just traveling, going to Florida or wherever, driving all over the country. And I would love to. And we've talked about it, driving back to the Northeast this summer in the coach, doing the competition, and then hanging out there, seeing the kids who are in Michigan, my grandkids and stuff like that.
That's like a bucket list item of mine, is doing some sort of like road trip and something like that.
Oh yeah.
I think it'd be fun. I had a friend.
I've done it in a like 2-seater car.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
We really would love to do more of it than we get to do these days, but yeah, I have some friends who did there's a guide for doing it, but they call it chasing the fall colors. And so you start up in the Northeast and you do a road trip across the country as the colors change for fall. And,
that's my fucking dream.
Yeah, it would be fantastic. I would love to do it.
You haven't seen fall colors until you've seen fall colors in Massachusetts and Vermont and New Hampshire.
So I hear.
Oh yeah, I've actually been up there. I mean, Northern Connecticut, like Litchfield Hills and whatnot, is really, really beautiful as well.
That's where my family's from. And we used to go up there and see the fall colors all the time. It's unreal.
That's
it's
where I grew up,
else.
actually. Yeah, I grew up down in Litchfield Hills, so it was absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
You did too?
Yeah. No kidding. Rhode Island, but I mean that's where I grew up racing, like all over here.
Yeah.
So like all season, cool. So all over those states. Yeah.
It got stolen from me when my grandfather moved south when my mom was a kid. Everybody else stayed.
Oh yeah. But you can always visit in the fall, right?
Yeah, if I had the money to. I don't got the money to travel like that. We used to go up there. We used to go up there every year when I was growing up, though, up until I was 13. So we were up there a lot.
Yeah. Let's take this question here from Zionic, and then we're going to be wrapping it up here shortly, guys. What legit supplements, if any, can support albumin, globulin, and improve SBE-related plasma protein labs beyond calories, protein, hydration, and more recovery time? Thanks, BP.
Question for Zionic, actually, is have you gained a lot of weight recently, like in some fashion? That's what I'd be curious about to see.
He has. He just finished an off season.
Okay, well then, great. That confirms my suspicion that albumin and albumin at least anyway. I don't know about globulin, but can't keep up with the rate of the plasma expansion level that your blood volume is increasing. Got new tissue to fill up with liquid, and that stuff just hasn't caught up yet. I don't think, because I see it all the time, and my albumin only gets back upward to normal when I'll be like in a deficit for some time. I'm talking like 4 months plus, and he says he needs to recover it.
Yeah, he was saying he says he won't be able to recover it. Yeah, he says he doesn't feel he'll be able to recover. At least that's what I'm taking from it. And I actually just went up higher to say fuck, just because I enjoyed it.
Mine's normal now for the first time. Right now, I'm only like 195 pounds now, and I'm down from 260 So my albumin's normal now. But for 4 years, I had a below range albumin. So I'm not the only person I've seen, but the only time when my albumin would climb back up would be at the end of a deficit while I was
He's in a deficit now, right now, apparently. And let's see what else he has to say. He says, yes, he can't donate plasma for money until it gets
deficit.
up.
When I was in a deficit too, my albumin would still be below range, but it would be less below range than before. Now I am in range normal albumin. So, and that's because I've been off the gym for a year now.
Austin, you think this is just a matter of like taking your foot off the gas as far as food goes?
I think it's actually direct to tissue growth specific.
Okay.
Like in that, like you got more muscle holds more blood. Blood has to be diluted with liquid, and you can only make and create those proteins at such a rate. Like it's like something has to make those proteins to be in the blood. But if like you've grown muscle so fast, it's possible the infrastructure to make those proteins isn't robust enough yet to keep up at the rate of a normal population. You're just lagging a little bit behind because you have gained muscle at a rate that is a bit above average. So the machinery that makes albumin can't keep up probably. But I've seen it, and you know, it correlates to when my weight has been going up over a long-term trend, like a years of trend. And then now it's back, and it only has come back for the first time since 2022 now. And that's like a year removed from ever touching a weight and definitely not gaining muscle.
So it probably a problem more inherent to like hyper responders, huh?
Yeah. Or, you know, super dedicated people too, probably, even because you can push a lot of progress regardless of hyper responding or not, you know.
Sure.
Like I've seen it before. Like, and I thought that because I thought there was something wrong with me. I thought I had kidney failure. I was like, oh God, why is my albumin low? I could be peeing it out. Like my kidneys are dead. But you know, my cystatin Cs is EGFR is 123. And you know, there was no issue. And now it's just normal. It's just one of those like idiopathic things. You know, there could be a million causes.
So
but I think
it's probably more. I mean, you know, I mean, obviously, I think the first question is it the gear, and then is it pushing food? You know, given that it's protein related.
I think it's a direct size and blood volume thing, because albumin's job is to get fluid into tissues and maintain osmotic pressure. And like, if you've got more muscle cells, like more hypertrophy muscle cells, that is a lot more water to fill. And like, if the machinery that produces the albumin that's going to make that concentration appropriate of that albumin can't keep up with it, then you know, I think that's what it is.
Or depleted levels of albumin. Okay,
it's just
that
diluted,
makes sense to me now. Yeah,
it's still like it's diluted is basically what's happened.
Huh? Well, did you grow that much, Zionic? How much weight did you put on in that cycle?
Yeah, that we'd be interested to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he said he's only 2 weeks into the recomp after the push. So
I noticed this is like a long-term thing. Like this is my long-term trajectory over years. Like it came down over the course of 4 years of gaining a lot of weight.
No, 40 pounds, he says. 40 pounds. Sorry, Austin. I didn't mean to cut you off, man.
No, you didn't. Like, that's exactly what that's what I expected.
Yeah.
Wow,
dude. Good job, bro.
That's great. That's great, Zionic. Nice. 40 pounds is crazy.
That is, right? Oh, shit. That's wild.
Nice.
Good job, dude.
Nice.
All right. So I think we're going to wrap it up, guys. As far as next Thursday goes, it's entirely up to Austin. My wife and I were going to the Bahamas next week, so I am out of the country, man. Badly needed vacation, but we'll be back the following week. And of course, if Austin wants to stream, you know, he'll possibly be on. But anyhow, I wanted to first let Mike talk to the audience real quick so he can let everybody know how they can contact him. And of course, his links are also in the box. This is Mike Horner from the Mike Horner Muscle Project, a great coach and a bodybuilder himself, MPC, and he is a kick-ass dude. He's in his right now 54 years old. Looks fucking amazing. So go ahead, Mike. The floor is yours.
Yeah. Body transformation coach. Find us online, muscleproject.net, or give me a follow on Instagram, Mike Horner Muscle Project. Also, Mike Horner Muscle Project on TikTok. If you go to my website, you can click through to coaching, and you can book a consult right from there if you're interested in coaching. Yeah, check me out.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, also his website is in the description box as well. So, Austin, before we go, before we say good night, I want to let you talk to the audience and say hi and what up and what you're doing and what you'd like to do for them as a service.
Just anything about any of the topics that we talk about here, like, like this example with Zionic and the albumin muscle thing, any SHBG stuff, just reach out to me with that stuff directly if you feel like it. I like to compile all of that stuff just out of my own interest. Feel free to reach out. And then, obviously, if you want my oversight on anything, you can just reach out to me on Instagram for coaching too.
There you go. All right, guys. I pray everybody has an awesome freaking week ahead, or actually a weekend. Oh my God, it's already Thursday. This week flew by. So you have next week ahead. And if you
I'm
see
so excited,
Austin,
I might
everybody,
finally
it's
get a
gonna be
high day
awesome.
this weekend.
Oh, that's nice. Speaking of high days, I'm gonna be hitting this vape in about 2 seconds. But
Well,
anyhow,
I have been the whole time.
like you haven't done the whole time. I know, me too. I love it. In the couch. But yeah, I'm Studio 182 Pro. So you guys could reach out to me. Pro editor for all content, YouTube Growth Lab, SEO management, algorithm management, pro studio install sales, whether it be musicians or for podcast studios or just regular equipment sales. You can reach out to me at Erick at studio182pro.com. Also, we have graphics designer. We're bringing in a AI expert for AI altered content video. When you hire Studio 182 Pro, you actually get a service, a team that comes for you to help and get things going for you. And we have multiple packages, everything you can choose from. So please hit me up if you'd like to. Links are in the box. Until next time I see you again, my friends, thanks for coming out tonight. We'll see you real soon. Take care.